Hi everyone, I thought that it would be good to get this title page of the 2025 weekly colouring planner done before we do the first week page. So I've grabbed my Castle Arts gold pencils and thought we'd have a go. Now, as it's sort of this time of year, I quite fancy doing it in Christmassy colours, but we'll see what happens. I think really we've got quite a few. I'm just having a little look. We've got sort of these types of flowers, then we've got these types of flowers, we've got, and I think all the rest are pretty much the same as each other. I'm trying to work out what book it's from. I have no idea. It doesn't really matter. So I'm thinking, because I'm thinking Christmas, maybe reds is the way to go with the florals. We don't have a great deal of different reds though in our set, but we'll see what happens. I think I'm just going to make a start and not dither too much until once I found my red. I'm going to use the vermilion first. I think I'm going to do these ones. Yeah, they'll come in maybe a tad closer. Now with ones that look like this, what I tend to do is make them a little bit darker down in the middle. We can do that all the way around, so I'm putting down quite a lot of layers of red here, like that, and then just taper it off towards the tip of the petal a little bit, like that. Now we might benefit from putting a darker red in the middle there, but we'll see how it looks once we've gone all the way around. Now you can use any red pencil, you don't have to use your Castle Arts Gold. There's actually quite a lack of reds in the castles. The gold has a few more, I think, than the soft touch, if memory's correct, memory serves, but that's okay. We'll make the most of what we've got. It might be that I don't do them all red after all. Once I've done these, I will make my mind up. Maybe. Maybe we'll see. I'm not really in a dithery mood. Sometimes I am, not today, so we'll see. Had a lovely morning catching up with a friend. We had a sort of Christmas catch up. We do every year, exchange gifts and have a chat, a coffee, and we had a little walk into town afterwards, which was nice. Took up most of the morning, so that was rather pleasant. I've got quite a few little appointments this week. Got to have a sort of doctor tomorrow, and she's just going to wanted me to come back to let her know how I was getting on with the hormone replacement therapy that I'm taking, which is working nicely, so that's good. And then on Thursday I'm popping in to see a neighbour in the afternoon, which is nice, and actually it's quite a good time to meet up in the afternoon because it's usually a bit too dark to do recording. Not because, I mean, I can put my lamp on and the light on. I've got the light on here now actually and the lamp on. It's not so much that as my eyes get a bit tired and I struggle to see clearly once it's dark outside and the lights are glaring and things like that. It's a bit tricky. I ought to actually go into the opticians and talk to them about it. I probably won't have time to do that tomorrow. I was just thinking I might have time, but actually I've got to get home really, because my boy will be getting off to uni, and I ought to really be here as he leaves, just to make sure he remembers to do all the things he needs to do before he goes. But it depends how late the doctor's running. Last time I went to see her, she was over an hour late, but they did have 2 members of staff unwell, so let's just hope that isn't going to happen this time. But there we go. But luckily I'll need a repeat prescription, but I don't have to pick that up. I've got a few days, so I can always go and pick that up the day after. So, and actually both boys are home I think on Wednesday. Yes, one's had his lesson cancelled, the other one doesn't go in anyway, so I can just pop out whenever. That's good. And getting all preparations ready for the big day. I think this video will go out after, I'm not sure. I haven't looked. I've got a sort of really tight schedule coming up to Christmas with regards to videos. I've done all the morning ones already, and I've done some afternoons and not done others, and so I've got a list written down next door. It's a bit confusing for me. Everything gets confusing. I always have loads of lists at this time of year. I've got to make one soon as to what food we want on for our meal and things like that. So I'm just stopping to wipe my nose, and what I'm going to do is pick a darker red colour to do those centres, because for me they're not quite dark enough. You might be happy, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to grab I'm just looking, I think I'm going to use the spice red. It's quite a dark, almost aubergine colour, and I think it will just darken these centres nicely. The idea is to try and make it darkest right in the middle and then lighter towards the outside. Don't worry if you get a bit of pencil in the centre. Well, it depends if you copy me exactly, but I'm going to use pen in the middle. I decided for something different that I haven't tried before. I don't think I have anyway. I'm going to do a sort of metallic pen for the centre of the flowers. I just thought it'd be a bit different, and yeah, a bit shiny for Christmas, you know. So now I'm going to go back to that vermilion. Sorry, can't see it, and just tidy up my florals a little bit. There's a few scruffy areas where I just want to go over them again. You may not need to do that with yours. Yours might look nice, and also just trying to blend in that darker red into the outside. It was very noisy in town this morning. It was quite strange, and normally it's Monday today. Normally on a Monday it is quite quiet, but there was two people singing Christmas carols without any accompaniment. I can't say as I was really enjoying it, to be quite honest. Interesting singing. Right, now this is where I have to make the decision. Do I go with another red? You know, I can use the scarlet and then maybe the alizarin crimson, or do I move away and do maybe a gold colour and then maybe a purple? I am thinking purple and gold might be better than all red. So that's what I'm going to do. So these, I think I will do in my gold, and these in purple. It'll be easier to do less in gold, because gold I need a mixture of maybe 3 or 4 colours, whereas purple I can just use a couple. So if we have more purple, it's a bit easier. And I think the gold will just jump out if there's less of it somehow, maybe. Right, so for our gold, we firstly need a dark brown. So I'm going to grab the walnut brown. If I can find it, there it is. So here is our walnut brown. I'm going to grab the colours as I go. So I'm going to use it on the middle here, and then just what I tend to do, I'll show you on the outside, is do one defined line and then one sort of scumbly line, okay, and I'm going to do that all the way around, so that I've got a sort of darker line and then one that I can fade my next colour into, well, mix my next colour into, sort of thing. There we go. Now these seeds, stamens or whatever they are, we're going to colour over these, because we're going to draw them back in with pen at the end. If you don't feel confident doing that, then try and colour around them, but I find I'm neater if I colour over it. And so just sharing my sort of plan with you now, so you can sort of see what I'm doing and think about whether that's what you want to do, or whether you want to do something a little bit different. These petals are quite small, but it should be fine. Oh, excuse me, I've got a bit of wind. think it's I just had a coffee after lunch when I did the ironing. Put a wash on, all that stuff. You know, all the things that need to be done. Right, now I need a lighter brown. Now we don't really have light browns. We have a brown ochre which is quite orangey, which I think I will use because it's quite a good transitional colour. And if our gold happens to be a bit orangey, it's going to just look a bit coppery. It'll be fine. It'll still look a little bit metallic. Hopefully, using this technique. So I'm not going to do loads of this because it's not quite the right colour, but it will hopefully transition from the very dark colour to the lighter colour a little bit better than if I jumped straight to a lighter colour. Hopefully that makes sense. There we go. Yeah, I was talking to my friend about what we were doing for Christmas, different food. She's got 4 children. One lives with her, so she's got her, of course, but you know, she's seeing some before, some after, and different people, so you know, she gets to see all her family. It's all rather nice, isn't it? Yellow ochre, it can be what it's about for some people, not everybody. Some people don't see their families, but I think it's nice. And she's talking about, you know, how they all want some special food, but they're trying not to do too much because they either end up making a big stew or soup or things like that, and she doesn't really want to have to do that. She wants them to just, you know, have the right amount. And it is true, you can end up with a lot of leftovers, and it depends how many people you're seeing and things like that. Because we're not entertaining anyone this year, then we won't need to have lots in. So it will just be what we fancy and what we know we're going to be able to manage, sort of thing, you know. And I always think there's no need to, I mean, you see how it's looking a bit more gold. I think I am going to go to the terracotta light. I wouldn't necessarily always do this step, but because we've still got a fair bit of space, I think it'll work. I'm only gently expanding the area. Yeah, I always used to think I've got to have Christmas pudding, I've got to have Christmas cake, I've got to have chocolate this and that, and I've got to have this pudding and that pudding. And now I think, you know, there's plenty of Christmases to celebrate. Some of the foods are available all year round anyway. You know, there's no need to sort of try and indulge ourselves in a whole week and just gorge everything. But if that's what makes you happy, then, you know. But I used to find I ended up feeling extremely uncomfortable, and I'm like, come on, let's be sensible here, because I'm going to go with the cadmium yellow now, because it's our wedding anniversary on the 23rd of December. We used to either eat out or have a takeaway on that day, you know, like a big curry. And then I would feel so full on Christmas Eve. And then even by Christmas Day, I still won't have fully recovered from the indulgence. And then I sort of think, was this really worth it? So we don't do that anymore. We have I'm actually going to cook us a Christmas dinner on that day, but it won't be huge, you know. It will be a sensible size, and we won't have pudding, you know. It will just be a nice little treat. And actually, I say I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and get help. Hopefully the boys will help me. But it won't be that difficult. It'll just be a lot of veggies and things popped in the oven and things like that. You know, I don't find it too difficult to cook, really. As long as I've got it all written down and I'm well organised. If these circles look quite strange, don't they? The centres look really gaping, but we will fill those in eventually. I'm quite pleased with those. And now we're going to do purple. Sort of, I want the sort of violets. I'm just looking, we've got a purple lake deep, which is one of my favourites. And that's, I'm going to do this for the base of the petals, and then a slightly lighter one for the edges. I think with my red, I probably made the mistake by trying to use the same colour for it all. I mean, we've rectified it now, but rather than doing that with this one, I'm going to start with the purple lake deep, but not take it all the way to the edge. So I'm just going to start down here. I'm going to layer it up quite a bit down here at the bottom, and then a bit less as we go further up. I think also as I've got older, I have found that eating too much food doesn't suit me. I will find that I can go to bed and I can feel so uncomfortably full that I can't sleep and things like that. So it's something that I realise that obviously it's not suiting me and I need to stop. So I have, and it's a lot better. I very rarely now have occasions when I feel like that, so it's a lot better. And I think it's just a matter of, you know, when you're young you can do it, but when you're older you can't. I don't know what it is, but our body's like, nope. Like they are with a lot of things, I suppose. Although I've got more, I can walk further without pain than my children. They both get sore if they walk too far, whereas I think I may just have a very high pain threshold. It might just be that. I can hear my washing machine whirring away. I shouldn't think you can, but it is spinning away at the clothes that got put in there. My husband put a wash on at lunchtime, so that was useful. Now I've decided how I'm going to do the centres of the red ones, but I haven't decided how I'm going to do the centres of these, or the gold ones. So I said about using metallic, and now I'm wondering whether I want to use silver in the red, or I could use silver for all of them. That would be quite interesting. Just building that up a bit there more. Yes, that's an idea. I'll have a think about that as I carry on. And we do have our leaves to do. They all look quite similar, so I am tempted to do them all the same. Or I may use some different shades of blue-green. It depends what range I've got really in this set of pencils. I can't remember. It's I don't know all of my pencil sets that well. This one is relatively new. So, because Castle sent them to me, which was very kind of them. I was thinking how lucky I am having things sent to me. I'm wondering if this one, and this one, no, some of them are slightly different, but I don't know if they are. Colour, yeah, the French company used to send me a lot of things, but they have announced that they're no longer going to be selling things into 2025. I think they said they had a big sale on their website. I haven't looked on Amazon. A lot of their things are only available in Europe and the UK anyway. I say and the UK, we are part of Europe, but anyway, it's it always feels like we're a bit separated to me. Sadly, I'd like to feel a bit more part of Europe, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I think there was Americans particularly used to get quite frustrated that they couldn't buy their products because they didn't all come out in the US, and I think had they made them available in the US, although it was expensive to do so, it may have helped them. But their books were printed on such thick quality paper that I think that made their prices not very competitive, you know. So I think that was one of their problems. But anyway, I've got quite a lot of their books, and some of them aren't really my thing. So I'm wondering whether, because usually when a company sends me something, I feel very loyal to them and I feel like I need to do a lot of work in their book, and normally I like them, and so it's not an issue anyway. But a few of the books that they've sent me, Heather Purple, I've not been completely keen on, to be honest. and I'm wondering whether to pass them on to someone who might be, but all of them I've coloured in, so, and they're too heavy to post, so I'm a bit unsure really as to what to do, but I'm going to have a think about it, because I think, well, I could pop them in a charity shop, but then because they're partly coloured, they might just throw them away. I could cut out the coloured pages or pull them. It's a ring bound book, so I could just pull them out. So I could do that. That's a possibility. Or I could just talk to them about it, you know, see if they want to me to take the pages out or not, sort of thing. Some of them, quite a few pages are coloured, and some of them only one, but because the book says it's got a certain amount of pages potentially, then people will notice it's missing. But then if you buy something second hand, maybe you would expect that. I don't really know. Anyway, I'm pondering this, as you can tell, and I shall have a think as to what to do. But I do really need to free up some room on my bookcase, so I'm sort of thinking it would be nice, because some of them I just can't see me using, you know. Whereas most books I want to finish because I like them, and you know, you can't like every page, not every single page equally. So a lot of books I do like all the pages, but some I love and some I like, you know. But it depends on the book, doesn't it? So I'm just thinking about, you know, it would free up some space. It would be some books that I wouldn't have to finish, because I always feel like I've got to finish every book that I have, which I know is silly. It's just a thing in my head. So, and most books I want to, as I say, because I really like them, but some of the pictures in these books, not quite so keen, and also even the ones that I am, it just would reduce the amount I had to do, sort of thing. In my head, I know there's no pressure from anybody to do it apart from myself, but you know how our brains work. Very, very oddly. So I'm thinking, but also I'm so grateful for them for sending this to me. I don't feel like I want to seem ungrateful by just getting rid of them, if you know what I mean. So I am just thinking on it. So they also sent me some pens, which I used a bit, and pens aren't really my thing. And I also think, you know, maybe it's better for someone who's really going to enjoy it to have it, particularly the pens, because I could ask my family if anyone's interested, but I don't think they will be, to be honest. My nieces don't have the time. My nephew's just too old to do colouring. I know you're never too old to be colouring. You're going to all tell me that, and you're right. Of course, you're right. But they see it as a kiddie thing, you know, because they're teenagers. Partly. I mean, yeah. I don't know what my children's opinion is of it, whether they think it's a kiddie thing or not, but it's just a mum thing, isn't it? Because mum does it. And I don't think they're bothered either way, really. It's just not something that interests them, really. It could be anything that I did. Right, we are nearly there with our little purpley flowers. There we go. I really want to see what they look like with the centres done, but I can't do that yet. I need to get on and do this green. I'm looking what I've got. I've got a juniper, the juniper and the viridian are both very pretty. The viridian and the prussian. So I might grab 3 different greens. I'm just going to grab one at random. This is the juniper green, and I think I will do all the flowers on one particular, all the leaves on one particular flower. So juniper green, I think I will do the red ones. As I say, just completely random. So here I'm going to just reduce towards the tip a little bit. I just love the intensity and beauty of that colour. So nice. Oh, and there's this one. I think most of our leaves are on the purple flowers. I suppose they're on all. It sort of makes sense, doesn't it? So after I've done this one, I will just check. There's none on there. Yeah, that's it. So that's the juniper. Then what's our next one? Here we go, the Prussian green. I'm going to use this for the gold ones. So we've got a few more on here, haven't we? Got less flowers, more leaves. Again, a bit more at the base. This isn't quite so bluey, but I think it'll work. It's a nice intense green, which I associate with Christmas and that sort of winter colour. There we go. Now I assume we have some up here. We do, just a couple. Now, they don't necessarily look that different, these greens, but I know I've done different ones. There we go. And the last one, as I said, is the viridian. This one needs a sharpen first though. And then the base a bit darker to the tip. Like that, all the way around. This one you can see is different. Now it's right against that other green. Now I've got to try not to miss any out. Wish me luck. You know what I'm like. I think I was doing a flip through, I think, of a book, and I found things I'd missed. It's almost as if, actually I was talking to friend Mary yesterday about Matchstick Mouse. I just coloured a Matchstick Mouse picture, and I said to her, I always forget Matchstick Mouse's ears. Not the inside of her ears, but the outside bit, because it's all so small. She said she always forgets her nose. I don't tend to forget her nose. I have done. I usually leave it till last, and I can never decide whether to do it like the inner ear colour, which I usually do in a sort of salmony, pinky, peachy colour, or whether to do it black. I can never decide. So I usually procrastinate and leave it for a bit while I'm thinking. So I don't tend to forget it. But the ear bits, it's weird. I do all the fur, and then I have to try and remember what colour I've done it to go back and do the ears. Often if I'm doing a flip through and I find a bit I've missed, I wouldn't go back and colour it, because I'd have no idea what colour it was supposed to be. And I also think it's quite interesting to look back and think, oh, look, I didn't do that bit when I coloured it, sort of thing, you know. I try to. Now, another question that came to my mind was the background. We do have a little bit of background peeping through in places, and I actually feel that having the white there is rather nice. I had thought I could do a bit of a black and just take it round into the circle shape, but I thought, actually, I think it's okay, you know. Don't think it necessarily needs it, but I shall have a rethink as I do the centres. But I really am thinking, no, just knocked my cloths that I use for my pastels. So these are the Sakura metallic jelly roll. You can use any silver pen. What am I trying to say? We're going to do these as well. That isn't what I was going to say. I was going to say the Posca silver is rather nice as well. I think Pentel does one. I'm sure a lot of places do. I haven't actually found a bad silver pen, to be honest. I think silver's quite a good one, in the sense that you can't really go wrong. Whereas I've had bad other metallic pen colours, but not silver. So I think it works quite well. As I say, I've never tried this before, so it's a bit of an experiment, but why not? Have a bit of fun. Now, my next idea for my next video was to do the first one in the book, you know. And I've now got wet paint pen, so I might have to rethink my plan. But we need to do these, don't we? Now, you could do these in black if you prefer. I think they would actually stand out better in black, but I'm just sort of lazily doing them the same as the centres. but you know, it's you could, if you don't like the silver and you've coloured along with me, you could grab a black after and go over, wait for it to dry really well. So I would wait like an hour, you know, so you know it's really dry, and then go over it with a black. You might find it scrapes off a little bit, but I don't think that would matter. But there we are, I am done, I think. I'm just going to tip it to the light, whoops, wiggling, to make sure that I can see the shine, so I can see if it's all done, which it is. So it's quite hard because when it catches the light it looks white like the centre. So there we are. There is our first picture in the colouring planner. Obviously it's not our first weekly picture, but that will come. So there we go. So thank you for watching. I hope that was okay. Yeah, I hope you have a super day and happy colouring.